Chris Shandeck, C1 interview covering Las Vegas and the world. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button below, like this video, or subscribe to the right of me to keep up with everything we have going on here at C1 Interview in Las Vegas and beyond. We greatly appreciate it. I hope you've had a great weekend. So it's 2025. A couple days ago, I told you about some travel tips for 2025. Well, today we're going to talk about the stars that are performing in Las Vegas in 2025, and thank you to Entertainment Weekly, where I found these names and some of the details. So I'm going to read through some of the names of the people who are going to be performing in Las Vegas. If you want to come see somebody perform in concert, see their residencies, this is who they are. This is when they're performing. Lionel Richie, January and April at Wynn Las Vegas. I repeat, Lionel Richie at Wynn Las Vegas in January and April. Shania Twain at Planet Hollywood in January and February. I repeat, Shania Twain, January, February. Pitbull will be at Fontainebleau in January and March. I repeat, Pitbull, January and March, Fontainebleau. Mariah Carey will be at Park MGM for many dates in February. Again, Mariah Carey, Park MGM in February. The Eagles will be at the Sphere in January, February, March, and April. So there'll be multiple months where you'll be able to see the Eagles at Sphere. The Righteous Brothers are going to be at South Point, January, February, March, and April. Of course, the Righteous Brothers are past C1 interview guests. Great guys, and Bucky Hurt and Bill Medley. I mean, great show, legendary show, some of the greatest music of our times. Go see the Righteous Brothers at the South Point Hotel and Casino, January, February, March, and April. Blake Shelton will be at Caesars Palace in February. Garth Brooks will be at Caesars Palace in February and March. Keith Urban will be at Fontainebleau in February. Repeat, Keith Urban at Fontainebleau in February. Black Eyed Peas, February, March, and May at Planet Hollywood. Barry Manilow, of course, will be performing multiple dates, continuing his residency and continuing to build upon his record of the one that has performed the most at that resort at the International Theater. He'll be at the Westgate for many, many shows through many months. Maroon 5 will be at Park MGM. They will be there in March. Rod Stewart returns to Caesars Palace. He is still performing March, May, and June. Josh Groban will be at Caesars in May. And finally, New Kids on the Block, June, July, November, and February. So I'll just give you a recap of all the people who are performing in Las Vegas. Multiple dates, multiple concerts for their residencies. Lionel Richie, Shania Twain, Pitbull, Mariah Carey, the Eagles, the Righteous Brothers, Blake Shelton, Garth Brooks, Keith Urban, Black Eyed Peas, Barry Manilow, Maroon 5, Rod Stewart, Josh Groban, and New Kids on the Block. So if you're interested in seeing any of those acts, go to Google, search their name, search Las Vegas Concerts Las Vegas, and see what comes up. And hopefully we'll get to see you here in 2025 in the entertainment capital of the world. I'm Chris Shandeck for CY Interview. I'm now going to play our interview with the Righteous Brothers. This is from a couple of years ago. I believe it was the end of 2018, early 2019, when they were at Harrah's. They're now at the South Point. But here's my CY interview with the Righteous Brothers, Bill Medley and Bucky Hurt. Feel free to listen to that as we revisit one of our best. Again, they're going to be performing at the South Point Hotel and Casino, multiple dates. Go see them. It's a great show. I'm Chris Shandeck for CY Interview. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button below to keep up with everything we have going on here at CY Interview in Las Vegas and beyond. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one. Take care.
You're on CY Interview.
This is Chris Shandeck for CY Interview. We're here tonight at Harrah's Las Vegas with the current Righteous Brothers, Bill Medley and Bucky Hurt. Bill, Bucky, thank you so very much for being on CY Interview. How are you both?
We are absolutely wonderful. We're thrilled to be in Vegas and having a great time.
That's the great Bill Medley. Bucky?
I mean, everything is just fantastic. Couldn't be any better.
Let me ask you, so I read this online. You never know what you're reading online is true or not. He decided to do this because he lost a coin toss. Is that true?
Well, we flipped a coin, and he lost, and he had to do the job. No, we did. I don't know where that came from. Maybe Bucky or I were joking, made a joke, but no, we didn't flip a coin. We've been friends for about 14 years, and I've known him. He's one of my favorite singers, and I had a lot of fans and friends, and saying you need to keep the Righteous Brothers, that music alive. And so when I heard Bucky was doing some some Journey songs, and I said, man, if he can do that, he probably can do Bobby Hatfield. So we sat down at the piano and it worked. And I said, you want to be a Righteous Brother? And he said, no. I said, it pays $50. He said, I'm in.
Do you remember the first time you rehearsed with him and practiced with him and what you thought about it at that time?
The first time that we rehearsed together?
Yeah.
Oh, it was surreal. Like Bill said, we'd been friends for a while, but never sung together. And so I came over to his house and sat around the piano. And of course, his Grammy's sitting on the piano, and we're singing "You've Lost That Loving Feeling," and Bill's playing the piano and kind of talking me through the arrangement and all that. And I sat there and I said, it was surreal. So I'm sitting here next to a rock and roll icon singing the most played record in the history of American radio. It's just unbelievable. And this 3-month first contract has turned into, well, next year we start our 4th year here at Harris. So we're already booked for 27 weeks next year.
In all honesty, how's he doing?
Not very good. You know, when we rehearsed, it was a lot better. No, he's doing phenomenal. And not only is he a great singer, but what's more important to me and to Bucky too is that we're really good friends, and he has a phenomenal sense of humor, and we just have become good best friends. And we love football. We have a lot of the same stuff going on, and I'm telling you, it's maybe 3 of the best years I've had musically.
So let me ask you, you have such a wonderful tribute in the show with your Unchained Melody to Bobby. What do you think he would think of this going on?
He would say, Medley, stop it. No, I think he would. I think he would like it. Especially showing the video of us through the years.
It's like he's still part of the show. When Bill sings that song, and what a beautiful tribute it is. It's a scary song, and I thought coming in, Bill's like, I'm taking that off the plate for you. It's Bobby's song, and it's an iconic song, and I don't want to put that kind of pressure on you to do that song. And that's when he decided, he said, I want you to do a song that's not a Righteous Brothers song that people can relate to. And that's when he decided he wanted me to do Crying. So we do that as kind of my feature so that people aren't really comparing me to Bobby at that time. They can just sit back and listen to me as for who I am. And I think that was a smart choice. And I think it's such a tender moment when Bill sings that song. It's just priceless, in my opinion.
I'm going to throw something in here that I didn't have in my material preparation. I love that you sing with your daughter, McKenna. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, every father will tell you if you can work with your children, it's a blessing. And I've been singing with her off and on ever since she's 7, and she just was a great singer as a kid. And she's 31, going to be 32 in February, and just a great singer. So, it's a plus. Not only do I get to travel with her and sing with her, she's really good. And I know the audience, the minute I say this is my daughter, they're going, oh no, here we go. And then she sings and they go, wow. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing to work with your children.
I'm going to ask you now a really interesting question that me and my producer talked about. So, of course, You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling is in the movie Top Gun. Then we go ahead to the movie Ghost, and Unchained Melody is in that movie. Why do you think Unchained Melody was the thing that was bigger than the You Lost That Loving Feeling in Top Gun? Have you ever thought about why that one was the one that brought you guys back to Resurgence?
Well, it was at the end of the 80s, and Love and Feeling being in Top Gun, they didn't release it. They didn't even put it on the soundtrack. Yeah, I know it sounds nuts, but they didn't. And if the record company would have re-released it, it would have been a number 1 hit again. So when Unchained Melody was in Ghost, I went to the record company and say, we have to redo that, and it'll be a hit again. And sure enough, man, we redid it, sold 1 million copies. We did an album around it. It sold 1 million copies. Artistically, it wasn't necessarily the the best thing to do because you can't you can't do it any better than so I confess that it was a bad musical choice but and I've had the time of my life for Dirty Dancing, which became an enormous movie and an enormous hit. So we had those 3 hits right in a row, and we were back bigger than ever. But I know for Ghost, the producer or director of the movie was driving to the set, and he was listening to the radio, and Unchained Melody came on the radio, and bam, she said, "That's it. That's the song."
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty incredible.
And it was a song, and I truly believe that song helped the movie. I don't believe Love and Feeling helped Top Gun. It was great in it, but it didn't necessarily, like help it. I've had the time of my life. It's pretty important where it is in Dirty Dancing, but Unchained Melody, just because it was a hit in '66, but boy, after that movie, it just became bigger than life.
That's like, I've done 1,000 of these. That's one of the most interesting stories I've heard.
It's a lie, but thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just kidding.
I know that you're kidding. So let me just ask Bucky, then I've got 2 more questions for Bill. The first time that you guys got upstage here in Here's Las Vegas for the first performance, were you nervous?
Oh, terribly. And, mainly because, I've sung on many stages. I've sung in many arenas and different environments. But to step into, so to speak, the shoes of an iconic singer and like Bobby Hatfield and this iconic group, Bill and I put it to the audience like this. It's not a replacement. You cannot replace Bobby Hatfield. I was the biggest Bobby Hatfield fan on the planet. You cannot replace him. He's irreplaceable. I am just stepping in, trying to do my best to keep this music alive. So that's kind of the way I look at it. So when that curtain came up, I felt like all eyes were on me. And, I just wanted to get up there and do all you can do is do your best and hope it works. And so far it seems to be working.
Bill, I didn't know this about the history thing about you guys beating out the Beatles if You Lost a Loving Feeling. Can you please explain to me that again, just so our listeners know?
Well, I guess BMI asked Cap that they keep track of the airplay, how many times a song, because they have to pay the writers and all that. And, A Love and Feeling, man, I'm about 25 years ago, we were told from BMI that, and they gave us an award, that it's the most played record in the history of American radio. And the Beatles had it with Yesterday for a long time. And the real interesting thing about that is it's probably going to be the most played record on radio forever, because there is no more radio, barely. So it's going to be, and anyway, it's about 1 million plays ahead of the next song.
You mentioned this in the show. How long do you plan to do this with him?
You know what?
Let me answer that. A long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 78 years old, and when Bobby and I started in '63, we literally used to talk about what we were going to do when the fad is over. And here I am now, at 78, still singing songs I recorded when I was 23, and I will do it until the wheels come off. I will do it as long as I can do it, and as long as the crowd is there, we will do it.
Well, thank you both so very much. Bill Medley, Bucky Hurd, the Righteous Brothers. Anything you both want to add in closing? Let me just ask you, what do you still like about performing?
The audience. The audience is the deal. And we have a phenomenal band. We have a killer band, and they're all great friends. And we go on stage and we know they have our back, and that makes Bucky and I just relax and have a good time. But the audience, the fans, the audience, you know, you go in, you never close your eye. Well, they start holding each other and kissing this. Well, and people say, how can you keep singing those songs year after year after year? Because when we go on stage, I swear to God, that curtain goes up, I feel like I'm 25 years old. I do not feel like I'm 78. I feel like I'm 25 years old. The audience, you can just feel the audience going back to when they were 25. And so it's a real magical experience.
Did you know, I said this to Rich Little. I'm going to say this to you for your age. Do you know that 78 is like the new 48?
Well, I hope so.
And
I think you're right.
I also then said to him, have you seen a picture of Jane Fonda recently? And do you know what he said? She looks good. And you know what I said to him? And you do too. And you do too, Bill Medley.
Well, God bless you. Thank you. You know, we just always hope we look good enough to get on stage. You know, I just, you know, I feel a responsibility to look and dress energy-wise and everything, so the audience can feel good about themselves too. Wow, look how good we're doing. Look how good we look, and they should. And I take that to heart, and that's part of the gig.
Come see the Righteous Brothers at Harrah's Las Vegas. This is Chris Yannick for CY Interview. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. We'll do it again.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Where else are we going?
For CY Interview, I'm Chris Yandick.